3 things you can do at Christmas to be more eco-friendly and to be kinder to yourself too. With a few more days before Christmas, we've got the weekend ahead of us. Maybe you've got a little bit more shopping to do. Maybe you've finished your wrapping and you'll end up going to get a few extras. As it gets close to Christmas, it's easy to try and top up things and add when maybe you don't need to. When is enough? And ultimately it's about budget and about buying the right things for people, so try not to be sucked into getting more when in fact you're there, you've got enough. Number 2 is food waste at Christmas. Obviously, to begin with, don't buy too much. It's really easy to go crazy, but it's still got to fit in your fridge before you eat it, so consider how much you buy and maybe buy a bit less. Secondly, if you are getting rid of food after it's gone bad, make sure you put it into your food caddy and not into the main bin. And remember also there's the freezer, so freeze down what you can when you've got an excess. And the third way you can be extra green this Christmas, and you might not want to be thinking about this yet, but it's how you get rid of your Christmas tree. Have you got plastic? Have you got a real tree? Well, there's things you can do with both of those. Firstly, if you've got a fake tree, a plastic tree, to offset the carbon that's gone into making it, the trick is to keep it for at least 10 years. So be careful with it, and after you finish it, packing it away, and consider before you buy one that it's got to be something you're going to love and it's going to be of good enough quality to last 10 years. If you've got a real tree, so probably cut off at the base, I think a lot of people I know have got that one, it really has a massive impact on the environment, what you do after Christmas with it. So obviously as your green real tree is growing, it's capturing carbon from the atmosphere and putting it into the fibre of the tree. Why is this good? It's because we've probably got more carbon in the atmosphere than we want, and we're continuing to release it, and that contributes to, or is the reason we have climate change at the moment. And so it's a good thing when the tree grows, it's capturing all this lovely carbon, but the minute it's cut down and what you do with it can then release that carbon back into the atmosphere. So if you've got a real tree, whatever you do, don't put it in the bin out for the bin men to put in main rubbish. Ideally take it down to the dump, or arrange one of the charity or council collections for it, where it's going to go into biomass and be mulched down into compost, which is great. And if you don't do that, it goes into just a normal bin and into landfill. Unfortunately, the microorganisms that work when it's anaerobic digestion, when it's deep in the ground, that actually produces more methane, and it will add to climate change as opposed to just releasing the carbon that's grown and been captured while the plant was growing. So yeah, what you do with your tree afterwards, as much as you don't want to think about it now, really will have a big impact. So firstly, if you've got a fake tree, just look after it and keep it for those minimum of 10 years. And if you've got a real tree, then arrange for it to be either taken away by a charity or a council where it's going to be mulched down, or you could just take it to the dump. I mean, that seems like a pain maybe, but you thought it was important enough to transport that tree back to your house, you can always transport it off to the recycling centre afterwards.